Just wait till a few people come in here. Oh. Wait till a few more people get in here before I start. Just watching the rest of this Lakers game. Finally been able to, I've been trying to do a live video for the last week or two. Yeah. What's up, Zach? I'm on late because I'm watching a Lakers game. I don't know if you're into basketball, but I'm watching a Lakers game. It's about to finish up. And, I wanted to do a video before I went to bed. I had some energy and I felt like, let me do a video real quick talking about this Manny Pacquiao, Adrian Broner, and Mayweather and Khabib. And, the winner Pacquiao, Broner fighting Mayweather, all the stuff that I've been hearing. I've been trying to do a video live for the last couple of weeks. I think I tried it like a week ago and I couldn't get on for some reason. They just wouldn't let me make the video, or it would just keep loading. So I tried it again tonight and it's working. Seems to be working. So anyway, I'm gonna try and watch this game. 16 seconds left. And is this your first live chat? No, I did a few months back when I got kicked off. I was doing the Adonis Stevenson fight with Badu Jack. That was my first time going live. But I was showing too much of the fight and they booted me off. So I was banned for like 3 months from doing the live videos. So that was actually my first live chat. But real quick, since I'm waiting for a couple more people to join, I just wanted to speak on the Lakers real quick. I don't know if you guys watch basketball, but I mean, my expectation of the Lakers is I just hope they at least make it to the second round. I don't think they're a championship team. I think they have more potential than Cleveland did with LeBron being over there on Cleveland, but I'm only expecting them to hopefully make it to the second round. If anything, all right, game is over. But that's all I'm hoping, for them to make it to the second round. Maybe I think it's early, and it's too early. Too early. They got to develop. They're not going to beat any of the top teams missing this amount of 3-pointers. But let's talk about boxing. All right. Broner has no chance. What you think? I agree. I don't think Broner can beat Manny Pacquiao. Even at this stage of his career, I just don't think that Adrian Broner can beat Manny Pacquiao. I just Broner's good, and you know what? I'm gonna say this: the Mikey Garcia fight, right? I think that even though he lost that fight, I think a lot of people were disappointed at the way that he lost. I actually thought Broner was fighting at his absolute best at that night. I just think Mikey is just that much better. I think Broner was in shape. He looked very fast. His footwork had improved. I just think that he was just, I think Mikey was just overall the superior boxer. For Pacquiao to go over there now at his stage of his career, he obviously he wants to get paid. I think it's a cool matchup. I think it would have been a better matchup a few years ago when there was a little bit more hype behind Adrian Broner. But Adrian Broner, he's either at his prime or he's past it. I really don't see him improving at all. People think that a focused Broner is going to be better. I think Broner is focused. I just think that it is what it is with him. I don't think I really don't think he has a potential to be better at this point. I think we've seen the best of Adrian Broner, and we've seen the best of Manny Pacquiao, but the best of Manny Pacquiao is way better than Adrian Broner. Him beating Lucas Matisse at that, and Matisse is getting to that point where he's a little past his prime as well, but still beating Matisse like that was pretty impressive, And Manny Pacquiao is still very good. He's still very fast, even at his age. He's slowed down, obviously. He's not knocking guys out like he used to, but he's still very good. He's still very experienced. I think the Jeff Horn loss was just based on it being a bad matchup for him, because we got to remember that Manny Pacquiao is still a very, very small welterweight, and him, fighting Jeff Horn, no one really knew what to expect. I seen Jeff Horn fight before the Manny Pacquiao fight, and I just wasn't expecting him to be that physical, headbutting, fighting a dirty fight, but he did what he had to do to make the fight competitive. And Manny arguably still won that fight. I thought it was 6-6. I thought that one round, was it the 9th round, was it? Or the 8th round where Pacquiao exploded on him? I thought that round was I thought that round could have been a 2-point round for Manny Pacquiao. But, even with all that being said, Adrian Broner is not the physical fighter that Jeff Horn is. Adrian Broner is going to try to outbox Manny Pacquiao and counter Manny Pacquiao. And Broner, he just doesn't have it. He's a pop shotter. He does have some power, but he hasn't really proven at welterweight that he has that type of power like that. So I just think Broner is going to beat him I think I'm sorry. I think Manny Pacquiao is going to beat him, and I think it's going to be unanimous. I don't think it's really going to be that close. Uh, I think it's a cool matchup for Manny Pacquiao to go over to Al Heyman and fight over there and fight Adrian Broner. But Adrian Broner is not a top welterweight. He's just not. He's not to me. Maybe a top 10, top 15 welterweight, in my opinion. Adrian Broner right now, I just don't think he's elite at this point. I think he's a C plus fighter, you know? Let me see what you guys are saying. Floyd Mayweather and Manny are doing money grabs. Yeah. And so is Adrian Broner. I can't blame them. The top 147s won't fight each other anyway. I agree. This is stuff that I've been saying in my videos. What else is saying? Zoc says Broner never got past any of his step up fights. He's gonna make Pac look like a younger man. Now I agree. I hope Pac wins. I hope Pac wins too. Because Broner is just getting money grabs at this point. He's gonna always get opportunities. He hasn't proven anything to me. I mean, Pacquiao is still relevant to me. I think Broner is more relevant because of his mouth and what he gets into is outside of the ring. I'm definitely rooting for Manny Pacquiao to win that fight. Broner, I'm still sort of a fan of him, but I don't really care for him to win against Manny Pacquiao. I rooted against Broner when he fought Mikey Garcia. Broner is just whatever to me, what else you guys are saying? Keith Thurman, the biggest disappointment in boxing, has so much potential, but lost his hunger. I agree. I think he lost a little bit of it because of the Floyd situation, never getting that fight. And then, since he didn't get the Floyd Mayweather fight and everybody pushed Errol Spence on to Keith Thurman, and I thought Keith I don't know, he just lost interest because of that. I think him not getting that fight with Floyd, and Floyd kept getting, giving other fighters opportunities, wouldn't give him the opportunity. Thurman was in position to get the Floyd Mayweather fight and never got it. I just thought he lost interest a little bit, maybe he lost a little confidence too because he's having all these injuries and he's not stopping guys. He stepped up for guys like Porter, debatable fight for Danny Garcia, beat Danny Garcia, but didn't really hurt him. Hasn't really hurt anyone in a while like that. Hasn't knocked out anyone in a while. I think he lost a little confidence. Plus, he's a different point in his life. He's a married man now. And, people evolve, man. And I think young Thurman was wild, reckless, wanted to fight, wanted to beat everybody. He was the bully at welterweight, and he's not anymore. Can't be mad at Keith Thurman. Did what he had to. He did what he had to. Took good fights and hung in there until the hunger wore off. Exactly. I'm not mad at him. I am disappointed because I had very, very, very high expectations of Keith Thurman. And hit those likes when you guys come in. Hit those likes. All right, let me get those likes up. But I had very high expectations of Keith Thurman. I was one of the biggest YouTube supporters of Keith Thurman, and still am. I'm not afraid to admit that he lost it. He lost his step. He lost the hunger a little bit. I think he lost the confidence. But there's still fights I want to see him in. I do want to see him fight Errol Spence or Terrence Crawford. I do really want to see him fight Manny Pacquiao. And that's one of the things I wanted to address in this video is that I really want to see that fight still. I still want to see that fight. I still want to see Keith Thurman against Manny Pacquiao. I just think that's an excellent, excellent matchup. I want to see that. And now that Pacquiao is going to be over there with Heyman, I hope to see that. I hope to see it. I still want to see that fight. But those are the fights I want to see. I want to see Manny Pacquiao. You know who I want to see Pacquiao fight the most outside? He's not going to fight Terrence Crawford, so I'm not going to keep bringing that up. He had an opportunity to fight him when they both were on top rank. He didn't take it then. I'm not going to expect him to take it now. I do want to see him fight Errol Spence, but I want to see him fight Keith Thurman, and I want to see him fight Mikey Garcia. Okay? I know Mikey's he's not really a smaller guy. Manny's a small welterweight. I just think that's another good matchup, like the Keith Thurman matchup. Stylistically, I think those are like good matchups for Manny Pacquiao. Very good explosive fights. But Mikey's going to come in with his, I think Mikey's more well-rounded, and, he has good boxing ability. Manny Pacquiao with his speed, powerful straight left hand, great footwork. I would love to see that fight. I would love to see those two fights with Manny Pacquiao. Those are the fights. If you ask me, the number 1 and 2 fights I want to see with Manny Pacquiao is against Keith Thurman and against Mikey Garcia. Okay. Let me see what we got here. Pac didn't fight Thurman. Porter, Khan. Oh, Khan. I still want to see that fight too. I still want to see that Pacquiao fight with Amir Khan. I think that's another fun fight. But I think Pacquiao takes that fight. Okay. I think Pacquiao will beat Khan if he were to fight him. The Mikey Garcia fight, I'm not really sure. That's why I want to see that fight. The Thurman and the I think the Thurman and the Garcia fight would be a little bit more competitive. I think Khan is a fight I want to see, but I think Pacquiao takes that. All right. Pac didn't fight Thurman, Porter, Khan, or any other welterweight. What makes us think he will fight anyone of significance? Pac and Broner, get both of these dudes out of here. I mean, I don't know. Maybe he won't. Maybe he fights Broner, beats Broner, and just fights Mayweather in rematch. That's what it's looking like right now. These guys are all about money grabs. Can I really blame him? Not really, because Pacquiao, his legacy is already solidified. He just wants to make his bread at this point. Mayweather just wants to dip and dive and come in and out and make his bread and escape. He doesn't want to fight the really, really, really good welterweights. He didn't really want to fight the really, really top junior middleweights neither. He wouldn't have given guys like an Andrade or a Charlo or a Lara. That was the fight I really wanted to see. I really wanted him to fight Lara. He wasn't giving those guys the fights. He gave Canelo the fight because Canelo had the name and he was a big, he had the name. He gave Canelo the fight, but he didn't give the other guys a fight. He didn't give these other guys an opportunity to fight at 154, at 147. He wouldn't fight Errol Spence. He just wouldn't do it. He didn't fight Keith Thurman. All right, these guys are all about money grabs. Floyd fought Andre Berto in his final professional fight. He wasn't really trying to fight the top guy. He beat Pacquiao and said, you know what, I'm going to go out, fight Berto, and end it with that. Okay, so I don't really expect much. I'm just trying to be realistic here. If Manny Pacquiao is going to continue fighting, I would like to see a Thurman fight. I would like to see a Khan fight. I would like to see a Mikey Garcia fight. I think those fights are really, realistic. And a Mayweather rematch. I don't want to see the Mayweather rematch. I just don't want to see. I have no interest in it. I just don't want to see the fight. I don't even want to see Floyd Mayweather fight, period, anymore. I just don't. I don't care. To see Floyd fight. If Floyd is not going to fight anyone to really challenge himself and him being this inactive all this time, I just don't want to see it anymore. I don't care anymore. That's just me. Let me read some more of the comments. He beats Pac after a few tune-ups. Who are you talking about here? Keith Thurman comes back now. What happened to the chats? Keith Thurman. Sorry, I'm not used to going live, so Just bear with me here. Trying to keep up with the comments. All right, so he beats Pac after a few tune-ups. So I'm assuming you talked about Keith Thurman. Keith Thurman comes back now, and the division are going to pile in on him because he looks good on their resume. True. Manny is done like Floyd Mayweather. I can see Broner, Danny Garcia, but Thurman, Crawford, and Spence are a big no. Yeah, I don't expect him to fight Thurman. It's just a dream fight for me. Crawford, I don't expect that neither. I don't expect Spence. I think Thurman, I think Garcia is believable, and I think the Mayweather rematch is believable. And I also think Khan is more believable than Thurman, depending on how Thurman looks when he returns. Why does Mikey even fight at 130? Well, he fights at 135. Okay, he doesn't fight at 130 anymore. He's fought at 140 recently, and he fights at 135. He was entertaining the Spence fight, but that's not going to happen. He fight most of his fights at 140. What's good at Concrete Jungle was good. Lara versus Floyd Mayweather is funny. Shields was on TBV when Floyd Mayweather had the WBC, and Shields asked Heyman about the fight, and he said it isn't happening. Yeah, I mean, that's a dangerous fight for Floyd. When he did have a title at 154, I thought Canelo was a safer, and the risk reward factor in there was good with Canelo. Fighting experienced fighters like Lara, guys with that kind of movement, guys that's taller, longer than Floyd, was a dangerous fight. I didn't expect Floyd to fight Lara. I just thought it was a bad matchup for him and one that he could have possibly lost. Same with Andre. Just fighting a younger, fresher Andre with long arms, southpaw, power, length, height, size. It just wasn't a good matchup for Floyd, at that time. And they didn't have the names. And the demand for it wasn't that high, just guys like me wanted it. A few guys that were Lara fans, Andre fans, Charlo fans, we wanted it, but it was unrealistic, okay? What else is being said? If I was Pac, I would go down and wait and fight Tank Davis, Lomachenko, and finish up with Mikey. Crawford, Keith Thurman, Spence, and even Brook would be too much for Pac at this stage. Get Mayweather out of here too. Yeah, I agree. I'm being realistic. I'm telling you what I want to see. And I'm telling you what I expect. I expect Pac to fight. I think Lomachenko was a possibility. I think it's done now that he's not with Top Rank anymore. But I do think Mikey is very, very real. And I think Khan is real as well. Okay. The other names that you put up, Tank Davis, he's not fighting Tank Davis. Tank Davis is too small. I don't think that fight is going to happen. He's too small. I think Tank does belong at 135, but he's a small 135. Okay. Never thought I would say this, but I won't spend another second on a Floyd fight. Grew sick of him. Yeah, I'm just done with Floyd, I mean, Floyd is one of my favorite fighters ever. I don't care to see him fight anymore. You sure most of his career was at 140? Who are we speaking on here? No, I didn't say most of his career was at 140. I said he just fought at 140 recently. Most of Mikey's career was at 126. And then he went up to 130 for a few fights, and then he took that layoff because of all the legal issues with Bob Arum. And then when he returned at I think he returned to boxing at 135, and the majority of his fights was at 135 when he returned. All right. He went up to fight at 140 for that title against Lipin. Yes, that was the only fight he did at 140. Okay. So it's okay for Mayweather to destroy boxing, but making Uh, these guys are writing retarded stuff. All right. Don't come in here saying stupid stuff. I'm gonna block you. So it's okay for Mayweather to destroy boxing by making it WWF events, bringing UFC fighters to a boxing ring, but it's a crime Canelo calling him out. I didn't say anything about Canelo calling him out. I I didn't say anything about that. So I don't know. I don't know what you're trying to address here. Floyd doing what he wants to do is what he wants to do. I don't like it. You know, if he decides to fight Khabib, that's on him. You know, it's on him and the people that support it. If you're buying the pay-per-view to watch him fight a UFC fighter, then that's on you. You know, I watched him fight Conor, but you know, I didn't buy the pay-per-view. You know, I'm not gonna spend my money on it. You know, that's what Floyd can. Floyd can do whatever he wants to do. Am I gonna support it? No. Now, as far as Floyd Mayweather coming back, fighting the winner of Broner Pacquiao, you know, I really don't care. You know, am I gonna watch it? Yeah, I have a boxing channel. I'm gonna watch it. I'm a boxing fan. I'm gonna watch it. But you know, my Mayweather, I'm past Floyd Mayweather. You know, I'm just addressing him this one time because it's news. You know, I'm personally done with Floyd Mayweather. I think he's playing with fire to keep coming back. He's going to get old in one of these fights. He's not active. The longer he keeps taking chances with his career, at some point he's going to lose. I actually think the Khabib fight, Khabib is not that skillful of a boxer. As a striker, I think he was better than Conor that night. I don't think Conor is at his prime anymore. I think Conor is starting to fall off a little bit because the hunger is not there. He's another guy that's a money grab guy. He's now a money. He's basically Adrian Broner, just the UFC version. You know, he's the white Adrian Broner to me. Okay, and he's just bigger. You know, he's bigger than Broner, but he's the same damn thing at this point. Conor McGregor looked like shit in that fight. He looked like a fighter that wasn't active. He looked like a fighter that wasn't taking fighting seriously. He looked like he lost the hunger. That night, Khabib was the superior fighter, but he was a superior striker at that night. And I think if you talk to anybody that's into MMA, Conor McGregor is a better striker than Khabib. He is, but that night he wasn't, and that says a lot. If Floyd Mayweather really was to entertain fighting Khabib in a boxing ring, I think he would win easily. But at the same time, it's so risky because you're fighting a guy that has great stamina, can take punches, and is a pressure fighter. And I think like Floyd fighting a pressure fighter at this stage of his career is just risky. But I still see Floyd winning because Khabib doesn't have skills like that. You know, I think Conor in a boxing ring has more skills. It's just that his stamina is awful. You know, we saw that in the Nick Diaz fights. We saw that in the Floyd Mayweather fight. We saw that in the Khabib fight. But Khabib would be bringing pressure to Floyd. I just think it's stupid. Like, just me talking about it is so dumb to me right now. I'm actually breaking that down. It's just like Floyd Mayweather against Khabib. I don't want to say his last name because I always butcher his last name, but I don't want to see it. But I wouldn't be surprised if it happened. You know, they're talking about it now just to see what's going to happen. I really wouldn't be surprised if Floyd fought Khabib and the winner of Pacquiao and Broner next year. I just wouldn't be surprised. You know, hit those likes. When you join the room, hit those likes. Appreciate it. So let me get back to these comments. Canelo is ducking Charlo. Well, Canelo's not gonna do tough fights back to back to back. He's fighting Rocky Fielding now at 168. I know he's going to 168. I know he's fighting a bigger fighter, a guy that's extremely, tall. But at the end of the day, these guys are very calculated on who they choose to fight. Fielding is nearly not that good. I think Canelo is going to shut him out and possibly stop him. Okay, I think size is the only advantage Rocky has over Canelo. That's it. All right, Canelo is not no small dude. Canelo didn't even look small when he was fighting Golovkin. All right. That's the problem, BoxingWave. They can't turn away from Floyd. Yeah, people can't turn away from him because boxing is just different now. The superstars, there's not many superstars in boxing. It's not many of them. So if you're not speaking on Joshua, who still is not even a superstar in the USA, if you're not speaking on Canelo, Triple G, and a few other fighters, Manny Pacquiao, a lot of people just don't really know and follow these boxers like that. They think of boxing. Floyd is still pretty much the face of boxing. Is unfortunate because he's not even fighting anymore. He could just come out and meet up with Pacquiao out in Japan or in Asia or wherever the hell they were, and now everybody's talking about it. It is what it is. I try not to talk about Mayweather too much. I'm doing this video, but you don't expect another one. I skip over a lot of Mayweather news. Even when he was fighting Conor, I didn't make much videos talking about the fight. Hawker Mustang, what up, BoxingWave? What up? What up, Hawker? How you been? Yeah, CM just took too much time off. If he was active, he would have won that fight. Yeah, possibly. I didn't think he was going to win that fight going in there. I thought the time was just too off. Took too much time off. And not only that, he took too much time off fighting in MMA. Okay? Khabib has a better tank and has never lost a round in MMA. True. At least as far as what I've seen him in his fights. Bro, who you got against Deverenchenko and Jacobs? Dude, I really don't know, man. I really don't know. I'm still stuck on it. I haven't done a video on it because I'm ducking that video. I'm ducking that video. I don't know. But I've been thinking about it. It's been on my mind. I really don't know. I really don't know. That's a 50-50. I'm leaning still a little bit towards Jacobs. But I don't know, man. Deverenchenko is very, very dangerous. And I just haven't seen enough of him yet as a pro. I know he beat the Bahamian fighter, the guy that fights the rugged pressure fighter. I can't think of his name right now. The guy from the Bahamas. He beat let me look that up. Let me look it up on BoxRec real quick. I hate that I can't think of his name right now off the top. Trying to think of his name. You guys know what I'm talking about. All right, BoxRec. Terriano Johnson, right? So he stops him. But Terriano Johnson is not a Daniel Jacobs, Daniel Jacobs is a very versatile fighter that has a lot of power, good boxer, tall, rangy, big middleweight. It's a tough one to call. Deverenchenko got a good inside game, good boxing ability, good background, amateur background, power. He has power himself. He's very dangerous, Definitely Jacobs, probably Jacobs' most dangerous fight outside of Triple G and what's his name? Who's the guy that knocked out Jacobs years ago? The European fighter. Damn, I'm just off tonight. It's definitely getting late. But anyway, tough fight. I don't know yet. I'll do a video though. I'll try to get one out within a week. I think they're fighting next weekend, so I'll get the video out before the fight. I'll do that. But I am leaning towards Jacobs a little bit, but I'm not sure, man. Khabib is probably the best wrestler in the UFC, possibly. There's some other good wrestlers. There's other good wrestlers up there, though. You know, I don't know if he's probably, yeah, he's definitely up there. He's definitely up there as far as wrestling. But you know what? Khabib, most of the time, he's a ground and pounder. He's not a submission guy. He doesn't submit that many people. You know, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but he's more of a ground and pound type of guy. You know? You know what I'm saying? So, I don't know. Canelo is the new Floyd Mayweather right now. He definitely is. Khabib lost a round to Conor. I think the third round was questionable. I think that was a round that Khabib took off. The third round in that fight. I think that's the round that Conor probably won, but it wasn't like a dominant round for Conor. It was just more like Khabib took the round off, you know? He was dominant the first two rounds, and he took the third round off. So I gave that round to Conor, but it was more like a sympathy round, you know? Pirog, yeah. Pirog, Dmitry Pirog. Who would you rank number one pound for pound right now? I still think it's between Crawford and Lomachenko. I think it's between those two. You know? I think it's between those two. I haven't done a pound for pound video in a while. But if I had to do a top 5 right now, I would probably go with top 5 right now. I'm thinking Crawford, not in no order. I'm just gonna name 5 guys: Crawford, Lomachenko, Usyk. I think Usyk is definitely a top 5 guy. I think Triple G is still around there. You know, even with that loss to Canelo, I think he's still in the ballpark. Obviously, I think Canelo is definitely debatable up there. I think Spence is definitely debatable. I don't know. There's a lot of fights. The thing with Spence, I think he's a top 5, but I still want to see him fight someone else. You know, I still want to see him fight someone else. I don't know. You know, Crawford was school Spence. I think I don't know, man. I think Crawford is slightly better talented. I think he's slightly more talented. Barely. I said that in a recent video. I think Crawford is barely. I don't think the skill gap is that wide between Crawford and Spence. I think Spence is much better skilled. I think he's more skilled than the people that Crawford has faced. You know? I think he's more skilled than these guys. I think he would have beaten all the guys Crawford would have beaten, even if weight wasn't a factor. So I don't think the skill gap is that wide. I think Crawford is definitely stronger and bigger and a harder puncher. But I do think Crawford is more skilled. I think he can possibly outbox Errol Spence. You know, if they fought today, I would slightly lean towards Crawford still. Okay. Do you think Bud beats Spence? Yeah, I just answered that. Think I'm still leaning towards Bud just a little bit. Canelo versus Charlo. Oh, and just because I don't want you guys to I don't want you guys to respond to what I just said. I also think that Crawford would beat anyone that Spence fought. I think I don't know if Crawford would have knocked them all out, but I think Crawford would have beaten all of the other guys. I don't think Crawford would have knocked out. I don't think Crawford would have knocked out Kell Brook. Okay, I think he would have outboxed him. I don't think him beating what's this guy Kell Brook by a stoppage. I don't think that would have happened. He's just not that type of pressure fighter. I just think that Errol Spence is a better finisher, in my opinion. Canelo versus Charlo, another fight that I'm just not really sure on. But if they were to fight today, I would still probably lean towards Canelo winning a close decision. Charlo is my guy. I need to see something at welterweight. I need to see him fight a Jacobs, a Deverenchenko. I need a Saunders or Andrade. I need one of those fights. Beating J-Rock at 154, big win, but I need to see more. And what bothers me about guys that thinks that Canelo is ducking Charlo, I don't want Charlo to be overhyped. Like, I hate when there's YouTubers that's doing that. Stop overhyping Jermall Charlo, because if he doesn't look good in a match or if he loses a match, people are going to say that he's some type of hype job. I don't think he's a hype job. I think he's very good. It's just that I want to see him, and that's my guy. I want to see him win these fights first. He just doesn't have anyone, and he wants to fight the top fighters. I'm not saying he doesn't want to fight them. He definitely wants these matches. It's just that we haven't seen Jermall Charlo fight a top middleweight yet. Not one. I want to see that first. I want to see him fight the Triple Gs, the Daniel Jacobs of the world, and all of these fighters up there. I want to see it first so I can come up with a better, assessment on how that fight would go. I just don't know. At least with Canelo, he's fought Triple G. He's fought a lot of guys. So, he's fought Lara. I can at least kind of give you an idea. I just don't know with Jermall. I don't know. I know he fought Austin Trout, and I know he fought J-Rock Williams, and I think the Austin Trout it was arguably a tie. And Jermall was much bigger than Austin Trout. So, being J-Rock and beating Trout, it doesn't cut it for me, because I think Canelo would have beaten J-Rock as well. And Canelo already beaten Austin Trout, and he wasn't even as good when he beat Austin Trout. Jermall beat an older Austin Trout, and it was a close fight, So was Canelo back then. But I'm just saying, I expected more from Jermall in that fight. All right? Especially because Trout got stopped in the following fight. I believe the following fight was when he fought Jared Hurd. All right? I just don't want people to overhype Jermall. Let's let the guy do his thing. Let's not overhype him and say that he'll beat all of these fighters. If that's your opinion, that's one thing. But don't say fighters are ducking him. Don't say that Daniel Jacobs is ducking Charlo. Don't say that Canelo is ducking Charlo, because there are fighters that we felt that Canelo was ducking, and then when they got in the ring with them, you know what I'm saying? Like, I thought Lara was ducking, or I thought Canelo was ducking Lara for years. Then when they get in the ring, even though I thought Lara won the fight, still, I thought that the fight was a lot more competitive than what I expected. At the same time, I thought Canelo was ducking Triple G, whereas when we seen the fights were close. Both fights were close, especially the second fight. And the fact that Canelo was walking Triple G down, it's just like, you know, nobody has gone in there and made it clear that, okay, now we see why Canelo was ducking this guy. Floyd is the only guy that clearly beat Canelo. Not debatable. I think most people think that Lara beat Canelo, but there was a lot of people that thought Lara didn't beat him, you know? So let me try to catch up to some of these comments. Spence would knock out everyone Crawford fought. Yeah, without doubt. Spence will. I think Felix Diaz would give Spence a good fight. I think Felix Diaz would have gave Spence a decent fight. I think Spence would beat him, but I don't know if he would have knocked him out. You know, uh, I think Spence would have gotten caught a few times trying to overexert himself if he had fought like a Felix Diaz fighter. But outside of him, I think Spence would have definitely knocked everybody out. Spence would have knocked out Jeff Horn. Jeff Horn would have been tailor-made for Spence. Oh, my God. Jeff Horn would have been trying to do that rugged, rough shit like he did with Crawford and Pacquiao. And Spence would have destroyed him. He would have ate him alive. He would have picked him apart, So that's what I'm saying with this debate with Spence and Crawford. And I'm just like way off topic now. I'm not even speaking on Mayweather, Pacquiao, and all this shit. But when it comes to the debate between those two, it's really hard to call because the resumes are close. I think the resumes are close. I think the skill set is close, and I just want to see the fight. All right. Didn't you do an interview with the Charlo brothers? Yeah. I did. My first interview on this channel, one of my first ones, was with Jamel. Jamel had came to New York. Actually, I did. Did I do the interview that time he came up here? Jamel came up to New York years ago. I think it was his first time in New York, and we was hanging out. And I think we did the interview either before that or later. But we had this went out. So when I went to the what fight was that? Was it the Wilder fight? Yeah, it was Wilder against Ortiz earlier this year. I had seen them. We was at the fight, and I ran into them, and we were just hanging out. We was all. They were having their drinks. I was drunk. You see in the interview, I was having drinks. I was just out there with my boy, just enjoying the fights. And we ran into each other, and they was like, "Yo, fuck it, let's do an interview." And I'm like, "Nah, we can't do an interview now on a phone." He was like, "Yeah, let's do it. Let's just do it. Just for the hell of it." And I was like, "All right, let's do an interview," And that's why it wasn't like a real interview because I wasn't prepared to do an interview that night. I was out enjoying myself. They were out enjoying themselves, and we was just having a good time. Shout out to those two. Those are my guys. But yeah, I like those guys, but I'm not gonna overhype them. I'm gonna keep it fair. I still want to see them develop. I still want to see Jamal prove himself. I want to see Jamel prove himself. I think Jamel at this point at 154 has proven himself at 154. At this point, he's arguably the best fighter at 154 at this point. But before, when there were more fighters, when his brother was down there, when Andre was still down there, it was more I wanted to see between the both of them. All right. Just because Spence will KO all Bud opponents don't mean he stopped Bud. Nah, of course not. Styles make fights, and I think Bud, Bud brings dangers to Spence that he hasn't faced before. Spence's best opponent to me was Kell Brook, clearly. He fought Lamar Peterson, but I think Kell Brook is better than Lamar Peterson. All right. And Kell Brook had some success earlier in that fight. But I think Crawford brings new dangers to Errol Spence. And vice versa. I think Errol Spence brings new dangers to Terrence Crawford that we haven't seen. So depending on how both of these fighters react to each other, how are they going to react when they have a fighter that's on a different skill level than all of the other fighters that they face? I still see improvement in both fighters. I just don't know who's the better fighter. We just got to watch and see at this point. They're both really, really good fighters. I think they're the best two fighters at 147 already. I'm already calling it. They haven't proven that. It's just that based on what I'm seeing, I think those two are the best. Some people still say Thurman. People still say Thurman's the best. And he's proven more than the both of them. He's proven that. So I can't argue that. I just think that, in my opinion, I think those two are the best already. That's just my opinion. It's not like when I was making videos on here about Keith Thurman, there were fighters that I would say that I think was dangerous for Keith Thurman. Before Spence came around, before Terrence Crawford moved up, what did I used to say? I used to say that I think Floyd could beat Keith Thurman. Okay, I think Floyd could beat Keith Thurman. I think Kell Brook can possibly beat Keith Thurman, and I think that there was somebody else. Always thought that Marcos Maidana was a dangerous opponent for Keith Thurman. I think Keith would beat him, but I just thought that the matchup was a tough one for Keith. Was a dangerous one for Keith. Okay, so sorry I'm late, but I really think Pacquiao. Sorry I'm late. I really think Pacquiao dominates Broner. I do too. I said that earlier in this video. Okay. Name Canelo's next fights that you want to see. Well, that's two different questions. Name Canelo's next 5 fights. Well, I can't predict what Canelo does because Canelo is fighting Rocky Fielding, and I had no idea he would fight this guy. Oh, damn, no cell phone Amber Alerts. I think, what was I saying? All right, next 5 fights, I don't know, because Canelo can move whatever way he wants to. If he wants to fall back and fight someone from 147 or 154 with a name at 160, he can do that. Like the Khan fight came out of nowhere. So I can't predict who Canelo is going to fight next. Fights that I want to see with Canelo, I want to see him fight the 160 guys. I want to see him fight Jamal. I want to see him fight Jacobs. I want to see him fight Saunders, Andrade. Those are fights that I want to see. I don't want to see him fight anyone at 168. I'm not personally a fan of 168. I think even though those guys are bigger than the guys at 160, I just don't think. I think 168 is one of the weaker divisions right now. I think since all of the guys from 168 before, like Ward, Froch, all of those guys that went up, Kessler, during the Super 6 years, all of the guys that either went up or retired, they're gone. And I think it's just a weaker division right now. So I have no interest in seeing Canelo fight anyone at 168. I like the guys at 160. And those are the guys I just named. Those are some of the guys I want to see Canelo fight. All right. So Charlo, I want to see him with Jacobs. I wouldn't mind seeing a Triple G rematch, third fight, but I want him to fight some of these other guys I just named, all right, just to see. Pacquiao on Al Heyman. Can we see a fight between him, Spence, or Thurman next year? I doubt it. All right, I said that earlier in this video. I doubt it. I would like to see those fights. I would like to really see the Thurman fight because I think that's a great matchup. I would like to see the Spence fight. I think the Spence fight is very risky, too risky for him at this stage of his career. So I don't think that fight will ever happen. Fights that I want to see that I think are realistic. I want to see the Thurman fight. I want to see the Mikey Garcia fight, and I want to see the Amir Khan fight. Those are fights that are realistic for Pacquiao that I want to see. Broner, cool, but I don't really want to see it. I think Pacquiao is going to slaughter him, and I don't want to see a Mayweather rematch. Okay. Who does Mayweather fight before Manny Pacquiao though? Is he going to fight before Manny Pacquiao? Is he going to fight Khabib? I don't know. You know, I think it would be smart and wise of him to have a tune-up fight before fighting Manny Pacquiao. That's why I think the Khabib fight is a real fight. I think it's a possibility he might fight this dude. You know, if they can work something out, I wouldn't be surprised if that's his tune-up. Just to shake some of the rust off. All right. I personally don't care about Floyd and what he does in boxing at this point because he retired, but I would think that he should fight someone before fighting Manny Pacquiao again. Kyle says, I assume a Devin Alexander kind of guy. Yeah, possibly. But I doubt it. What up, Wave? Jamel is dope. Going to be hard for Jamal now. Yeah, it's going to be hard. But I think those guys are going to end up going to the zone. I think so. I think some of the guys on Al Haymon are going to go to the zone. You know, I think they will. I think Danny Jacobs was the first to go over there from Al Haymon and recently. And I think some of these other guys are going to follow suit. There's too many opportunities over there. Why fight it? Al Haymon can still be your manager, you know, unless they're exclusive to Showtime. I don't know what they're under any contracts with Showtime. I don't know what obligations they have with Showtime, but if they're not, I think they will go to the zone. All right. I think that's the way to go. Someone responded to another commenter, Michael, from what I hear, Thurman's wife is having a baby bonding and all that nonsense will probably keep Thurman out another 12 to 14 months. Thurman's done, man. Thurman should just retire. Been way too long. I said in a video earlier this year that I think Thurman should retire if he doesn't have it anymore in him. If the hunger isn't there, if the hunger isn't there anymore, just retire. You know, if you're a family man, just retire. Don't come back if your heart isn't in it. Only Keith Thurman knows the answer to that question. If his heart isn't in it anymore, he should just retire. Okay. Let me catch up. Let me bust out some of these comments real quick. All right. Canelo's going to handpick opponents with the zone deal, just like Floyd Mayweather did with Showtime deal. Yeah, I agree. Floyd Jr. and Pacquiao will cash out only in this stage of his career. Yep. Said that earlier. Yep, definitely. I think Jacobs Canelo is what's been being talked for May. That would be nice. I would like to see that. That would be nice. But Jacobs got a tough fight next week. All right, see if he wins that. Would you change your opinion on the upcoming Fury versus Wilder fight if Fury got back into his prime condition? Yo, Josh, it's funny you asked that because I've been watching Fury. I'm going to do a video on that. I'm going to do a video on that because if you followed me and what I've been saying about Fury and Wilder, and thinking that Fury is too early. Fury's starting to look in great shape. And, in the two fights that he came back, the first fight was, I forgot the guy's name, but the first fight he came back and fought was, he looked horrible. The second fight, he didn't look great, but he looked better than the first fight, right? If he is at least in his top shape, obviously, he's not as active, but he could be a problem for Wilder. But, give me some time to think about it. I'm definitely going to do a video breaking down the fight, all right? So I'll get back to you. I'll make a separate video on that. But I still think Wilder is going to win by knockout or a Fury by decision. That's currently where I'm going with it, okay? Find the weakest beatable guys at 160, 168. Canelo will fight them. DeGale, Lemieux, DeGale, I can see. DeGale is far past his prime. Lemieux is another guy that I'm expecting Canelo to fight. I've been expecting Canelo to fight him for the last couple of years. I think Lemieux having his losses kind of derailed that. But Lemieux is still definitely a possibility. Saunders screwed up with drugs, yes. Triple G, he will not fight Andrade or Jamal. Yeah, I really don't expect him to, but we'll see. Spence at this point just needs a fight. Agreed. But we need him in a good fight, because we already know he doesn't need a fight. He doesn't need to stay active. Listen, if you can't get the fight you want, I've been consistent with this as long as I had a boxing channel. If you can't get the fight that you want, at bare minimum, stay active. Rigo had that issue, and this is why he was stripped before. Stay active. At bare minimum, stay active. Okay? You got to stay active. You got to say, you can't just not fight. Okay? Fight 3 times a year, even if it's just 3 journeymen. I mean, if guys don't want to fight you, stay active. But Terrence Crawford wants to fight. So this is why I'm like, I don't know why that fight is not happening, because if Spence can't fight the guys that's with Al Heyman because they don't want to fight him, I know you want to fight those guys first. I know you want to fight Porter and Thurman and Garcia and shit. But if those guys are not trying to fight you, you need to fight Terrence Crawford. Because he's already put that out there, that he wants to fight you. He said it on ESPN. He said it on Twitter. He said it in interviews. Look it up. It's on YouTube. Check it out. Saunders could be tricky for Canelo, in my opinion. I agree. Saunders is a dangerous fight for Canelo. I actually didn't see them fighting Saunders, Canelo fighting Saunders. I thought that was a dangerous fight for Canelo. All right. Boxing without drugs to cut weight. How good is Saunders? Does he really have to drain himself naturally to make weight? Probably. Something's going on if he's taking drugs. So I agree. I think Saunders is the biggest talent at 160. I used to say that back when he beat Eubank when he beat Andy Lee and Eubank. I thought Saunders was the best talent besides Triple G. Then he had those couple of fights in between that time that weren't that impressive. And then, I think now he looks good. He fought Lemieux and, he had a couple fights and I think he looks good. But now that he got caught up with this drug scandal, and I just don't know anymore. I just don't know. And he did look good against Lemieux at the end of the day. Lemieux loses against all of the good boxers he faced. All right. Lemieux is either knock you out or getting dominated. He's either getting dominated or knocking you out. One or the other. When he steps up to fight the top fighters in the division, he usually loses. But when he fights those guys like a Curtis Stevens, guys that are respected but not great, he knocks them out or he's dominant. When he fights the respectable fighters like Gabe Rosado, he does well. When he steps up, he's not all that great. All right? LDPC really hates the zone and Eddie Hearn. Oh, yeah, they do. They do. That's pretty obvious, but, it is what it is. I don't know. I'm not in the inside just saying on skills. I'm not in the inside just saying on skills. I don't know what that. Oh, okay. Yeah, you're talking about Saunders and Canelo. Yeah. I doubt Thurman will win another title. The thrill is gone for him. I agree. Tyson Gay was suspended. Who's Tyson? If you don't think he was suspended, I don't think he was cheating. All right, just chill with the names, man, because I chill with that. Chill out with that. Fury was doing the rope a dope on the ropes versus a bum. The way he proves that much in 3 months, Wilder will catch him in the ropes mid fight. I mean, that's where I'm going with it. I think the later the fight goes, I think Wilder has a better opportunity then. But I think very early in the fight, Tyson Fury will be winning the rounds. I don't expect Wilder to win many rounds against Tyson Fury. I think he wins by knockout. But as far as rounds, I think Fury outboxes him, okay, until he gets caught. If he gets caught. Does Fury have a great chin? I don't know. He doesn't get hit that much. We seen him get knocked down by Cunningham, but he really wasn't that hurt. You know, I didn't really see him in danger, and he still went on to win the fight. And I believe he stopped Cunningham in that fight. Outside of that, I haven't really seen him get rocked too much. I seen him uppercut himself. You know, he I'm not saying anything, bro. He pissed dirty. So I believe the test. I was just saying he skills because Canelo skills. Yeah. I get you. I understood. I seen an article about Mayweather fighting Khabib, and after that, he's talking about fighting Conor again. So I think he's freezing out Pacquiao. I don't think he's freezing out Pacquiao. I just think I think he's trying to weigh in his best money grabs. If the money is there, he's gonna go with it. Okay. Freezing out Pacquiao, I don't know about that. I don't know. Pulev versus Fury. Who you think wins? Fury. I think Fury already can beat Pulev, even with the inactivity. I've never been super impressed with Pulev. Pulev is similar to Klitschko, just a watered down version of him. I think, and Fury already beat Klitschko. Shitty Klitschko at that. Not a non-aggressive Klitschko, but I still think Fury beats Pulev already. If they were to fight in December, and Pulev hasn't been active like that neither. All right, I don't even know if he's fought. Let's look it up. I don't even know if he's fought since he's backed out of the Joshua fight last year. Last time I seen Pulev fight is when he fought. Oh yeah, yeah. Samuel Peter. Oh yeah, he fought Kevin Johnson. Okay. Last year. He's not active, man. He's fighting Huey. Oh, I'm sorry. You're talking about Huey. I forgot this fight was happening. My bad. I don't know. Huey. I don't know. I'm not really impressed with Huey. I got Pulev winning that fight. I thought you were talking about Tyson. My bad. I forgot these guys were fighting. My bad. So, Fury got fucking jugged by Cunningham. I see Wilder by touch of death. Yeah. I think most people that think Wilder is going to win is because of that reason. But you got to go back and watch. If you go back and watch the fight, you understand that Fury was a lot younger and he was being extremely reckless in that fight. He hasn't been that reckless in a fight since that fight. All right. He's been a lot more cautious since that fight because of him getting knocked down in that fight. All right. Do you have a favorite heavyweight? Right now, Anthony Joshua, probably. Nah. Yeah, Anthony Joshua. Anthony Joshua is probably my favorite right now. I like Joshua. I like Dillian White. I still like Joseph Parker. I like Luis Ortiz a lot. I like Luis Ortiz a lot. I would say Joshua, and besides Joshua, I would say Ortiz. I think those are my number 1 and number 2 favorites right now. But Joshua definitely my number 1. Do you have a favorite? I want to see Spence versus Garcia now. I don't. I don't want to see that. I think Garcia will get dominated. I don't think he'll ever be the same after that. If Crawford gets the belts in 147, where do you rank him all time? Oh, that's way too early to call. But if he were to get all of the belts, I think he would be the best welterweight in this generation, post Floyd Pacquiao. I think he would be the best. But ranking him all time, that's tough. in this generation, there's always going to be the discussion, because once you put someone the best at an actual generation, you always got to mention them all time. Well, right now he hasn't gotten to that point yet where I can say that he's the best in the generation. He would have to beat Errol Spence. He would have to beat Keith Thurman. He would have to beat Porter, those guys. All right. You guys want the fight. You guys does want the fight. Yes, he does. Yeah. You know, if Spence can't get a fight, he should be fighting. He should be taking that fight. All right. I believe he's a mandatory anyway. So, or maybe not. Is he a WBC mandatory? I'm not sure. But Spence should take that fight if he can't get a fight. I don't know why Al don't pull rank on these welterweight pass the torch. Spence, it's time. Yeah, I don't know what's going on with that. And I said that in the video. I'm like, listen, you know, Spence is talking about the wrong side of the street and all of this, that, and the third. You know, I'm not fighting on ESPN. But he's in the same boat. And it's actually even worse for him because he has the same manager, and these guys still don't want to fight him. He's on his right side of the street, and they still don't want to fight him. You know, he should be fighting these guys, but he's not. All right. Caleb Plant versus Jose Uzcategui. Think Plant can win the fight on the back foot or get beat up like Darrell. Tough fight. I haven't seen enough from Plant. I haven't seen enough. Jose is very tough. He was tough. You know, even at 160, he was tough. He's a tough fighter, man, and it's very dangerous. And if Caleb is a good boxer, but this is a fight that is going to prove how good he is. I can't call that fight because I want to see the fight. I haven't seen enough from Plant yet, so I don't know. If Caleb doesn't, I don't even know if Caleb Plant has a chin. Like, I don't even know. I don't know enough for him. If he doesn't have a chin, he's getting knocked out. But this is a tough fight. If his skills are as tight as they look when he's fighting the lower end opponents, he should be able to outbox them. But I'm not sure. Plant is good, but I don't think he has the tools to keep Jose off him. That's what I'm saying. He's good, but he looks good against the lower end opponents, but I've never seen him fight a high level fighter yet. So I don't know. All right. Let's chill with the names, guys. If you're gonna Tyson, how old are you guys? Tyson Gay is a track and field star. All right. Thank you. Grow up. I mean, Huey Fury. Yeah, I know now. I already answered your question. I think Pulev is going to win that fight. Spence and Crawford need a 3-fight package. Like, I think, speaking on Pulev fight, if he fights Fury, don't chase Fury. Don't chase him. You know, Parker looked bad because he chased him, and he still won. I think if Pulev doesn't chase him, he wins. Spence and Crawford need a 3-fight package like Kovalev, Ward. That's how you build it. Yeah. But that was part of his deal. You know, it's not going to work that way because Ward and Kovalev were HBO fighters. So it worked out that way. All right. These guys are on 2 different platforms. Crawford's on ESPN, Spence is with Showtime. So it's not that easy, you know. Lomachenko versus Garcia. I think Lomachenko wins. Yo, I wanted to make a video too about talking about this. I want Mikey to fight Lomachenko. I believe Lomachenko is going to be fighting. What's this guy that? I can't say his name right. I can't. I need some sleep. I'm gonna shut the video down soon. Prodraza. I can't say his name right now. Lomachenko should be fighting Garcia though. That's the fight I want to see. I want to see Garcia fight him. They're both titleists at 135. If Lomachenko gets past Jose Pedraza, which he should, we should be getting that fight. All right. Do you think Jarrell Miller could present a problem to Joshua? Yes. Yes. I think Jarrell Miller is dangerous for anyone at heavyweight right now. Just because there's a lot of unknowns. You know, if these fighters can't hurt him, what happens next? You know, Jarrell Miller, huge, high punch output, pressure fighter. If you can't hurt him, what do you do? No one's going to be fighting 12 rounds with Jarrell Miller with that kind of pressure. Joshua, I can't see him doing it. If he were to fight Joshua, I would be banking on Joshua hurting him and knocking him out. Same with Wilder. But if you can't knock him out, that's the unknown. Pedraza. Yeah, I know. I was just trying to say his name right. It's not grow up, brother. You missed the point. Tyson Gay was suspended the same compound as Saunders. It's just points. Yeah, but just say it. It's just point what was going in Saunders' camp. Nothing wrong comparing cases. No, it's true. It's true. But okay. I'm sorry about that. Christian, I'm sorry about that. I didn't know you were talking about the track side. I'm well aware of who you were talking about. I'm just reading that. I missed it. My bad. Christian, my bad. I thought you were being funny. And I was talking about Tyson Fury being suspended. My bad. I know great point. What's your take on Billy Joe Saunders' failed drug test, especially with regards to the confusion on banned drugs list competition? What's my take of it? It's disappointing, man. I was long overdue of doing a middleweight video, breaking all of this down. With Billy Joe Saunders, there's two things that happened to me in the middleweight division that kind of threw me off completely. Canelo fighting Rocky Fielding after beating Triple G threw me way off because I'm like thinking to myself that he's going to fight Saunders or he's going to fight Jamal Charlo or something. So that threw me off. The second thing that threw me off was Billy Joe Saunders failing his drug test. And I'm just like, yo, dude, now this division is just crumbling now. It went from having so much potential because you got all these guys from 154 that moved up. And then you got all of these guys that, you know, you got Canelo and Triple G fights, and you got Derevchenko, you got Jacobs, you got all these guys at 160. And now you got guys that are going up in weight. You got, you know, Canelo going up in weight. You have, you know, you also have Saunders failing the test. It's just like, man, for a couple of weeks, I felt like the middleweight division was the hottest division in the sport for like a couple of weeks. And then we got all of the bad news. And that just kind of screwed me up, you know? So it's disappointing, especially because I rate Billy Joe so high. And now it's like when you fail the test, it's like now we got to question everything, you know? That's what happens when you fail the drug test. He's been having a bad month. Anyway, all right? So, you know, I mean, it's very disappointing when these guys fail the drug test, man. It throws everything off. I don't know what's going to happen now. I think like the division just has to hit the reset button again now. Andre's going to be fighting this guy from South Africa. I looked him up like maybe a couple of weeks ago. And when this whole Billy Joe Saunders thing happened, and you know, he looks good, but he hasn't fought anyone. You know, I really don't know. There's not much footage of his fights out there, and I really can't call it. I mean, I would think Andre should win this fight. But it's disappointing, man, because I really wanted to see that fight. I really wanted to see Saunders and Andre, and they've been promoting it pretty heavy on the zone. So I was very excited. I was ready. I was very excited for Andre because he finally got a really good matchup, and Billy Joe is fighting another really good fighter, better fighting than Lemieux, and we don't get it. So I'm very disappointed. All right, so listen, I'm gonna cut this short. It's getting late. I do have to work in the morning. I have to be up at 7. I got like 4.5 hours of sleep. But I did speak on Broner earlier in the video. Long story short, I think Pacquiao is going to destroy him. I think if Broner is to beat Pacquiao some way, Floyd would probably fight him, just based off the hype. But I'm not excited for Adrian Broner. I'm just not at this point. I'm not excited for him. I don't care what he does. I don't care what kind of training camp he has. He's not beating Manny Pacquiao. I don't care for him like that. I want to see Pacquiao fight Khan, I really want to see him fight Mikey Garcia or Keith Thurman. But if he doesn't get those fights, we're probably going to end up seeing a rematch with Floyd, which I don't care for. Okay, I don't care for at all. They're going to do numbers, but they're not going to do the numbers they did before. It's not like I want Pacquiao to retire. I don't mind Pacquiao retiring or continue fighting. It's just there are certain fights I want to see. I know he's not going to fight Errol Spence. I know he's not going to fight Terrence Crawford. But if he can get a fight with Thurman, that would be great. If he could fight Mikey Garcia, that would be great to me because that's just a fantasy match for me. And if he even fights Amir Khan, that's still cool too. But that's my opinion. All right. Let me read out these last comments and then I'm gonna get on out of here. Saunders Andre was a great matchup too. I gave Andre a lot of shit past few years. Hope he can climb high. Yeah, I gave him a lot of shit too. But I hope he gets. Being at the zone now, I think he's gonna start getting opportunities. I just hope he shows up now that it's time for him to really step up. I like Pac versus Broner fight. That's cool. 2 big names. I just think Pacquiao is far superior. All right. I'm so done with Broner and almost done with Tank. I'm almost done with Tank too. I'm almost done with Tank already. I don't like the fact that he's fighting these blown up 126 pounders. If you can't make 130, bro, you should be fighting at 135. You should be fighting Lomachenko. You should be fighting Mikey Garcia. You should be fighting Robert Easter. You shouldn't be fighting these blown up guys for 126. All right. I'm so done with. All right. So these little dudes annoy me. All right, guys. It was real. I'll try to do more live streams in the future. All right. But I'll see you guys on the next one. I got videos coming out. Expect a video for Jacobs and Deverenchenko. I'll try to do that video next or soon, within a week. But I'll try to do more of these videos, all right? Peace. Good night.